Hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you. It is 9 minutes with me on a Fish Friday at Rosie's Corner. If you are in and around Central New York, you got to get in here for lunch or for dinner. You can get the entree form, you get the sandwich form, and the coleslaw, the mac and cheese, the French fries. So many great side options here at Rosie's Corner to go with that fish. And of course, make sure you check out the rest of the menu items throughout the week. Pizza, pasta, hot and cold subs, the chicken wings are to die for here. And of course, stuffed shells, you can get a classic American burger. It's all on the menu here at Rosie's Corner, a proud ML Sports Platter sponsor. Take some desserts and salads and drinks to go as well. And you can like them on Facebook and follow them on Instagram, Rosie's Corner, a proud ML Sports Platter sponsor. You know what's funny is around the NFL, there are actually there's a large group, there's a camp of people who somehow think that the quarterback speaking out and running their franchise is wrong. To which I'm going, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I understand that Russell Wilson already has a Super Bowl. You probably could argue that they're the second or third most successful franchise of the last 10 to 20 years behind New England. You could argue it. They're in the playoffs every year. They got a Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame quarterback. They've got great ownership. But, you know, times change, and Russell Wilson's in his upper 20s, and Legion of Boom is now a long time ago. And while they have a ring and all the rest, and they did it the right way, right? Because, well, they went to another Super Bowl and didn't run Marshawn Lynch somehow near the goal line, which is still absurd to think about. But, you know, their window was open with the Legion of Boom and Russell Wilson on the early contract and all that. And then eventually we know what happens. The salary cap takes over, and you have to pay the quarterback, the most important position in sports right now, anywhere, is quarterback in the NFL. So eventually Russell Wilson gets paid. Eventually you can't pay everybody else, and you just kind of routinely show up in the postseason. You're there, you win some divisions, you get in the playoffs. Maybe you lose early a couple of times, but for the most part, I'd be pretty happy if I'm a Seahawk fan during the Russell Wilson era. But Russell Wilson clearly isn't happy. He went on Dan Patrick some weeks back and talked about how he was sick and tired of being sacked in the offensive line, and he was throwing people under the bus, which I didn't agree with him going out and doing it in the media. And I guess that's probably where I don't like it happening, where the NFL quarterbacks do this. I'd be cool that if it was just behind the scenes, but we know today's society. We know there's Twitter. We know, there's so many magnetic things and pulls, like social media and like other places for guys to go speak out. Deshaun Watson, same type of thing in Houston. I mean, that is a disaster of a franchise. They hired Bill O'Brien, general manager, head coach. Terrible mistake there. They traded DeAndre Hopkins. They did not go out and get more pieces on defense. They let J.J. Watt hang around too long. Could have gotten pieces for him. Now he's a free agent. So many blunders. The McNairs and company, they're terrible owners. Right now, it's a disaster. Recently, it's been a pretty successful team, right? I mean, they've gone to the playoffs multiple times. They've won divisions. They've been up there. But this second, I mean, it just disappeared. It blew up in a quick hurry. And Deshaun Watson now says, well, it blew up and I want out. If this were 2 or 3 years ago, he wouldn't say that. Remember, last year, the Houston Texans made the playoffs. They beat the Buffalo Bills. And you fast forward now, and the Bills finish in the Final Four, and Houston is a complete dumpster fire. Deshaun Watson didn't say anything last year. Why? Because everything was in place. He was getting support. They were good. Now they blew up the franchise, and they're expecting him to just deal with it. And if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm throwing up a middle finger, and I'm going, F you. I am not dealing with it because you don't have me in meetings, to help decide who that coach is. You do everything behind my back. You don't consult me for the NFL draft picks. And frankly, these NFL quarterbacks at this particular moment, all they're doing is what every other athlete does. Think about the NBA. The NBA, they've been running the league, the players, the superstar players. They've been creating their own super teams. LeBron James went on camera and said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach in the Miami Heat. Now, look, I thought that was fine. I don't know why people still hammer on LeBron for that. I mean, my God, the guy raised, hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Boys and Girls Club. Give me a break. That was the worst thing the guy did when he announced that. What's my point? LeBron James went to Miami. They formed a super team. Him, Ray Allen, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade. He goes to Cleveland, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, right? I mean, these guys form super teams. Look at what has gone on with James Harden, the demands of trades, the Russell Westbrooks. Look at Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors, demanding a championship. If I can't beat him, I'm going to join him. I'm going to get a ring. Now he's in Brooklyn with Kyrie. They form super teams. They run the league, which then gets in the TV money, it gets in the apparel, it gets in the ratings, and ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. All of it, the fantasy sports, money, 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 right? The NFL quarterbacks aren't doing anything different than NBA players. They're also not doing anything differently than, let's say, Major League Baseball, right? Right now, players have had it. They are tired of being controlled by owners. A certain amount of service time, a certain amount of years and contract years and all the rest under the owners. Well, how can you tell me that this works for anybody? First of all, it doesn't work for the players at all because you're not getting paid in your prime like you should be at the age of 20, 21, 22, 23. You got to wait till arbitration. Look at what Aaron Judge is doing now. He's almost 30 years old, and the guy hasn't even gotten his contract yet. Now, again, damaged goods there. Do you sign Judge? That's a whole other topic for another day. But my point is some of the prime years of Aaron Judge that we've seen, he's been paid pennies compared to other guys. Look at Fernando Tatis Jr. and Ronald Acuna Jr. getting deals in the last couple of years. Tatis Jr. gets $340 million over 14. San Diego's going to save on that because he's in his early 20s. The way the system works, it shouldn't work that way. He should come right out in the draft and get a contract as a teenager or a 20-year-old. Same thing in the NFL. You get a contract, it's not guaranteed, but it's based on production, performance, etc. And then once you're out of that 3, 4, 5-year, fifth-year option as a quarterback, then you see if you get the deal, a la Josh Allen right now, a la Patrick Mahomes, what he did, a la what Russell Wilson did some years back. All these guys are doing, these quarterbacks, is they're doing what everyone else does. The players are demanding that they want a little bit more. Now, do I think that sometimes players can be a little ridiculous? Sure. I mean, millions versus, 8 million versus 12 million, you'll be fine. You'll be able to pay the light bills. But the point is, in baseball, this is why they're probably going to go to a strike, because the owners continue to control the players. And by the way, that system doesn't benefit the owners either. So I don't know why the heck they're not agreeing with the players, because when you think about it, if I'm an owner, don't I want to pay a guy between the age of 18, 19, 20-ish to 30-ish? Don't I want to pay that Mike Trout, that Tatis, that Acuna Jr., that Bellinger, that Yelich, that all these big players? Don't I want to pay those guys in that window of time? Don't I want to pay $20, $30, $40 million a year per player over that time? Of course I do, because then when they're 30, I don't want to pay them $400 more million because they're on the back side of their career. Once they get to 34, 35, 37, 38, 40, 42. Look what's going on now with Albert Pujols, who still has produced okay for the Angels, but nothing near his St. Louis days when he was paid far less because he didn't get the contract. So if you think about it from an ownership standpoint in baseball, it actually doesn't make any sense for them either. I mean, I would think that the owners would want to pay their best players, the best players in the game, way in front of their careers and in their prime than between 30 and 40 years old. So ridiculous stuff that people are criticizing Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, et cetera, These NFL quarterbacks are speaking out because they want to win, they want the money, they want support, and if you don't like it, too bad. And they're the most important position players in sports right now, so you should be consulting them. You should be building around them. I mean, duh. You need them to win you championships. You need them to get you into the playoffs. So it's absurd anybody criticizing the NFL quarterbacks for speaking out. Again, from a media standpoint, a little excessive on the Russell Wilson side, maybe a little too much there. Again, magnetic pulls, social media, radio shows, guys asking questions, kind of triggering guys, but reality is, even behind the scenes, you gotta do it if you're these quarterbacks. You have to. They're in a no-win situation. ML Sports Platter. Make sure you download, subscribe, leave feedback, and a 5-star review. This video here brought to you by Rosie's Corner. Fish Friday. Get in for the fish, the pizza, the wings, all good stuff this weekend. Chicken and biscuit Wednesday, turkey slop Tuesday, meatloaf Monday, all coming up as we roll around into March 1st. Spring is coming. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.